so excited to meet the president. Hope I don't like my knees and pass out.
President Obama really has given me hope. As a single mom, as a middle-class person, I can tell that he really does care.
Knowing that tomorrow I get to eat lunch with the president, it's going to be bragging rights for the rest of my life.
The fact that I'm here, someone who's very ordinary, it makes you really feel like this is an important thing to the president, to be connected to the people.
When I donated to the campaign, all I wanted was my 2012 bumper sticker. And I would have never thought, I would be fortunate enough to actually have lunch with the president, Barack Obama.
It's been so exciting to meet everybody.
Hi everyone, hi.
I'm scared. How amazing is this? Yes, ladies, here we go.
We could have lunch.
Yeah.
Where you gonna sit? We were sitting there and you saw all the Secret Service moving around. We got excited. Then all of a sudden you heard a rumble.
Then we saw the presidential car through the window. We thought, okay, this is happening.
The Secret Service is getting really prepared and they're making their last final adjustments before the president walks in. It's amazing.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to meet you, Mr. President. Bill Blackwell.
Bill.
When the president walked in, everybody just shot up out of their seats and everybody was all smiles.
So you must be the firefighter.
Yes, I am, sir.
Good to see you.
Hi, Mr. President.
How are
Kathie
you?
Doyle.
Good to see you, Kathie. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of fun doing this because usually I'm having lunch and I'm reading some briefing book, meeting with my staff. To actually have lunch outside with some real folks is a big treat for me.
Sitting with the president, it was almost like, I don't know, like being with a friend.
You guys ask me any questions you want. And,
If you could work for anybody else besides yourself, who would it be?
yeah, I'd be starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls. But I think, that ship has sailed.
I have a question for you, too.
Go ahead.
Did you ever imagine that you would have the whole Republican Party decide that their policy would be to block every piece of legislation you try to pass?
I got to admit, I did not. And that was their strategy. It wasn't a good strategy for the country. It wasn't a good strategy for middle-class families.
The thing that's surprising to me is that some of these things that people are opposing now, they
were in favor for.
originally were in favor of. He looks directly at you. He's very genuine and very interested in making us all feel comfortable.
If anybody wants some fries, by the way, I'm not going to be able to finish these.
During that time when you were a community organizer, were there any particular lessons learned that have benefited you now?
I was actually working with churches. One lesson I learned was if you want to get people working together, the first thing you should be doing is listening to them and not just telling them what they should be doing. Another lesson was just being persistent and patient. When you're young, you're 23, you're thinking, man, by next year I'm going to have all this thing fixed. And a year passed and a few things have gotten a little better, but it was still, the neighborhood was still poor and kids were still having problems. And so you realized, you know what, you got to be in this thing for the long haul. And that obviously I still use now as president.
That's a hard thing, the keeping on.
It's the hard thing, but when I was campaigning in '08 and we were talking about hope is that you still believe even when it's hard. If it's easy, it's the rewards are right there in front of you. You need hope because these things are hard. They're hard to do. What I'm going to talk about over the next year is just because of our hard work, here are some things we've already gotten done. If we keep on working hard, here's some more that we can get done. And we'll look back 8 years after my first election, and we'll be able to say this country is in a much better place.
I definitely have lots of hope after this meal.
Well, it was wonderful to see you guys. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, sir.
This was one of the best meals of my life.
I don't even think it's really sunk in. It's kind of like we're all in shock a little bit.
And you don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to be a corporate interest. You can just be a citizen of the United States and your viewpoint is valued.
This presidential race is more than just a race. It's survival for all the middle-class working people. I'm gonna stand up and fight for this president. Whichever way I can help, I'm gonna do it. This is our fight for the future.